The USL's brand new Division One they just announced a couple days ago will forever change American soccer beyond this point. And of course, me and Andres have to talk about it. So we are here today to give you guys our opinions and discussion about what USL's Division One will mean for US soccer. But before we get into it, though, I ask you to please help us out by subscribing down below. We're trying to get 5K by the end of the year, so if you want to help us out, that'd be amazing. And then leave a like on the video, and of course, leave a comment down below your thoughts on USL's new top division, a new format for the league overall potentially. This could mean promotion relegation. This could mean a whole lot of things for the USL. Andres, though, initial opinion about this Division One: is it good? Is it bad? Your thoughts?
I'm excited. I think I'm excited. I'm not gonna lie. We've covered the USL introducing the promotion relegation a few times throughout our channel's history, and we've always been pro, and we were always hoping it would get to this stage. And now that it's officially announced, I'm honestly excited. So many teams, and there's gonna probably be even more. We'll cover how you're gonna have that Division One, how teams are gonna be there, etc. But because they're adding a brand new division over the championship, over USL One, there's just gonna be more teams. And there's already new teams expanding into the USL One, especially there's 2 new teams in California, I believe.
There is.
But I'm excited. I think it's going to be new, something that a lot of football, soccer enthusiasts have been asking for some time now. And I think it's one of those things where it can put you over the MLS. The MLS is, pre-existing, yada, 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 hard to overtake them, especially with the likes of LA Galaxy, Seattle Sounders, like well-established clubs, well-respected clubs internationally. LAFC is already up there as well-respected with all their deals they have with all these different European sides with their academies. But I think this is a way to rival it. I honestly do. I think it creates things more interesting, especially USL, because it's in the lower tier of professional football in the United States. It runs a lot more than the MLS and isn't greatly impacted by international windows. So I think it'll have a lot more people tuning in. And I'm just excited just because to see soccer develop as a whole because of the amount of teams that are going to have to expand in 2027. So it's 2 years away, granted, but I'm excited because there's going to be, I'd probably say 20 new teams by then. It has to be just because to cover slots.
A lot, yeah.
And hopefully in places that don't have pre-existing teams. Like I'd love to see one of randomly Montana, like Montana,
and you know
Utah, some shit. Yeah, I know there's Real Salt Lake, but I mean like another professional team in Utah because Utah deserves it.
Yeah, and you know what? With that is one of the big key points that the USL is trying to talk about and mention is that they are trying to expand into communities not previously expanded into by the MLS. Obviously, the MLS, yes, they're trying to build soccer in America over the course of the past 25 years, but there are a lot of markets, a lot of high-paying markets that they kind of stick in. LA, Miami, New York, a lot of these things, they have expanded into places like you said, Real Salt Lake, but there are a lot of places around the country that could benefit from a true soccer culture that have not yet. And I think that is a big reason why US has not become a big soccer nation as best as we should, because a lot of these areas that have, these, all different kinds of people don't have the opportunity to play soccer. And I know a lot of them would want to. So this is a great opportunity by the USL to do that. I think that's the number one reason why it's going to change American soccer is that just more people are going to have access to a top division. And the cool thing about it will be a top division, a Division One team in US soccer. It's not going to be the second tier like the USL Championship technically is. In comparison to the MLS, it will be another top tier league to rival the MLS. Will it ever get bigger than the MLS? No, don't come into this thinking that it will, because I would love for it to, but the MLS market is just way too big now, way too established, like you said, too much money in it for the USL to be above it. But the USL can kind of take away from the MLS, I think, grab a lot of new viewers, and not necessarily take away even, but just work alongside the MLS is going to be huge. The USL has had a really good past 2-3 years already. We know that. A lot of great players. Nick Markanich, who won the Golden Boot last year, just moved to La Liga, the Liga second division side, Castellon. The USL is starting to become a place where players can go develop and leave to better ventures that's not the MLS. And I think the USL is trying to expand upon that. And that's freaking awesome. No longer will these USL teams have to worry about making it into the MLS by just applying and hoping they get picked and hoping they have the infrastructure. Now they can stay where they are, develop at home, and just become overall part of a much better USA system. Now, hardly any other country in the world, though, currently still has 2 top division leagues. And so it remains to be seen. Like, I want to see the viewership rates. I want to see the sponsorships. I want to see the amount
I
of money being
think.
thrown around.
Well, okay, we've always complained about Apple TV, right? You got to pay additional, like, because USL Championship and USL One is covered by ESPN Plus.
Yes.
I wonder if it's gonna do a little bit better because a lot of people already
Mm-hmm.
have that because of certain bundles with certain corporations. I'm not gonna shout them out because whatever. It's a, but
Unless they want to sponsor us.
no, exactly. So everyone knows the bundles I'm talking about, but
Yeah. Yeah.
everyone always has it, and maybe it's something. I remember watching ESL games when I had classes at night. And I got bored in class, so I just pop the game on in class, watch it. It's more entertaining than the lecture. So so it's just like kind of like that's how you kind of grow it. And just I think having places in certain areas that's not been tapped into is going to be huge because I think that's how you grow it initially instead of maybe more Midwest teams, central teams and all that jazz. But I generally think because of the fact that everyone already has ESPN Plus to an extent that I think it's going to boost the viewership. And also people get tired of the MLS at a certain point. There's kind of like a little like point in the season. I feel like every season where it's kind of like a drop off where you kind of be like, whatever. And it's usually, I think, usually after my feeling, at least for me personally, is like after Leagues Cup, there's that period where it's like Leagues Cup, and then your team gets knocked out, and then they usually have like a month and a half gap between you and you play again, and that's where the USL can flourish too, as well.
Exactly.
And granted, this is 2 years away. The World Cup's in 2026, but they did mention in the article that they're hoping to expand soccer in the United States for the World Cup. So that's another boost because they're going to announce teams by probably like
Very soon.
late 2025, early 2026, and
Yeah.
those teams are going to be looking to grab players and all that jazz. So I'm excited. I think this is huge. I hope this is me being biased, but just because I actually prefer the USL over the
As a
MLS
league.
as a league.
Overall, yeah.
Yeah,
I would agree.
and I think they're more rooted in their communities than a lot of MLS teams are, personally. And so I'm excited to see that flourish a lot more. Also, I think it could do better as well financially, just because I think you'd be able to raise the pay for players more, et cetera, just because it's more viewership, more places, more people tuning in, all this jazz. So I think there'll be more money involved instead of like scraping the barrel that I think a lot of people assume the USL does is like, barely like making ends meet. But they probably don't. I don't know their finances, but they probably don't. But I think they're not gonna be like leeching off the MLS anymore. I think they're well established. It's just weird that the United States is the only one of the few countries that still has 2 top flight divisions.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like it really is a little statement on the state of soccer in the country is we can't there should be a unified fan base of soccer, right? England, everybody has someone in the EFL. The whole league, whether that's a Premier League team or a National League team or even farther down the pyramid, it's all one thing though. You can just be fans of different leagues everywhere. Almost everywhere in the country that is established in soccer has the same thing. USA though, you could be fan of you can have an MLS team and a USL team. You can have neither. You can have just one, disregard the other. I don't like that. I think the USL is one step forward to unification by division, if that makes sense. Like, start the divide now. Over time, it's going to become more ingrained with MLS because one thing I want to say is the MLS should be scared. I think at some point the MLS is going to have to integrate the USL in some way, whether that's buying out the USL or however. They're going to have to integrate this because the USL has the potential to be amazing. They have not explicitly said promotion relegation, the USL officially, but the way it seems is that it's going to go that way. They keep talking about progression through the ranks or progression through leagues and whatnot. The only way you can do that is through promotion and relegation. And the way you were talking earlier, Andres, is how about there is a lull in the MLS, especially towards the end of the season, middle to the end. It's a really big lull, and you kind of don't care, especially that's when summer happens and in general holidays and people are doing other things. The USL, if there's promotion relegation, fans will be engaged the whole time. If there's 20 teams, bottom 3 get relegated like the Premier League. The bottom 5 teams, fans of those teams are going to be watching every single game, and vice versa. Ran the whole league, ran the whole standings. People are going to be paying attention the whole year. I think that's what the USL has over the MLS, and that's what I think soccer needs in America is for people to stay engaged. The MLS is really hard to be engaged the whole time, especially if you can't go to games, especially if they're not playing in big tournaments or they switch up every year. MLS is a weird league. Obviously, if you're an American fan of soccer, you know what I'm talking about. We talk about it all the time, but the USL can really pounce on that and having like a consistent, intense competition set. I am worried though that the MLS one day, the USL is doing good, MLS comes in and buys them, or does something to stop the progression of the USL and gets rid of it completely instead of
Oh,
just
that would be
instead of
heartbreak.
integrating their ideas. The MLS, I would obviously, we've talked about it numerous times before. I'm sure we'll do another video this year. MLS promotion relegation is a dream that looks less and less likely to happen the more time goes on. The MLS has the way American sports works. Relegation just can't happen. Stakeholders in America will not put money into teams if they think they're going to lose money. It's just not how
Yep.
it's going to happen. The USL is a good experiment for that, to kind of go against the grain and see what people will do. And I think the USL is going to start making a lot more money. A lot of people are going to invest in it because it's the brand new thing in soccer, and it's going to show the MLS why promotion relegation works. So hopefully there is some joining later on, implements at the highest levels.
I'm
I
scared.
don't see it happening though.
Yeah. I don't. I
Yeah,
think yeah. If they bottom, I just feel like they disband it or like integrate certain teams, and then that's it. It would be cool to see like like we bottom. So something happens where they like join together, right? And join the leagues, merge, and then it's like, oh, MLS is on top, D1, USL, championship, USL one, rename the leagues, whatever, make it all work. But like then you have a 4-tier system, boom, out right there, four
yeah.
tier
It's
system, and
it's a
it'd be
simple solution in principle. Obviously, there's a lot more that goes into it, right? Money and
money
politics
is
and all
the
that.
yeah money is the key contributor here, especially with
Yeah,
the MLS.
yeah. But we've known, right? The MLS. We know that the MLS does not care about growing soccer in America. Let's be honest here. You can argue with me. You can argue with me on that if you want. I'm a fan of an MLS team. I'm a big LAFC fan. I'm actually going to the first home game next Saturday.
Yeah,
Um,
San Diego. Stay tuned. Sneak peek.
yeah, well, different game. I'm talking about a different game,
No,
but
no, no,
yes.
I know, but I'm just
Oh yeah.
saying.
Oh, you said
There's
and
something.
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah, a lot of. So we are fans of the teams of the league, but the MLS kind of is by default the leading name in American soccer because there's nothing else to combat that. There never was, never has been. They were able to make that monopoly essentially and develop what they wanted to, and they wanted to build a more Americanized version of soccer in comparison to around the world. The USL, however, really tries to grow soccer because they can't do that money making method of the MLS because MLS is already doing it. So they can't try and feed into that same money making revenue streams. All they can do is grow soccer, which is what they're trying to do. On their article about this topic, the USL talks about what makes it different. What makes the USL Division 1 different? It just says what makes it different. They mean what makes it different to the MLS.
you know the parentheses when you have an interview and it tells you like what they're talking about. That's
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm reading it like that. Yeah, what makes the USL Division 1 different compared to the MLS? Deep community ties, which I agree. There are a lot of, I mean, every club, right, does a lot for the community in the MLS. I know as an LAFC fan, I know LAFC does a lot of things for the community and for the youth outreach, people in need. They do a lot of things, right? But it doesn't necessarily grow soccer necessarily. And I do think that's what USL is going to do. They say pathway development, supporting player and club progression across all levels, which insinuates promotion relegation. Great. There will be no stagnation for clubs. Either you progress or you regress. That's good. That's what soccer needs, clubs need. And competitive excellence, ensuring high collective standards for play, operations, and fan engagement. Everything sounds almost too good to be true, if I'm being honest.
Why'd
But
you gotta jinx it like that though?
I know, I
Why you
know.
gotta do me like that? I'm
But you know the
confident. I
yeah.
believe.
Then
Meanwhile,
the
you're like
timing,
too good to be
the
true.
timing. I know, right? It very well could be, but the timing of it is very MLS esque, right? The MLS was formed after the last World Cup that we hosted, and that World Cup grew soccer a lot in general. We're hosting another World Cup next year. The following year, USL is doing the same thing. After a lot of fans are going to take note of the World Cup in 2026, I think it's recipe for success, right? I'm curious to see what kind of advertisement they do around then, what kind of promotions they're doing around then, because if I'm a fan who doesn't care about soccer and I'm learning about, okay, so there's the MLS, right? Okay, cool. We all know the MLS teams. David Beckham played for Galaxy and Allen Miami. Lionel Messi played there, and there's a brand new thing coming out pretty soon that has promotion relegation. I know what I'm going to tune into personally, and that's the USL. So yeah, I think it's going to change also what MLS is going to do over the next few years. MLS has been weird past couple years, obviously only growing, making more money, bringing on newer, better talents. But I feel like this kind of has them shaking in their boots. I feel like it should. And if
No,
they're
I think
not,
it
then
does. Because they just
it
keep throwing
should.
money at getting new players. That's their
That's
philosophy.
all it
To
is.
expand it is get new players, boom, throw money, help teams out, throw money. This is different. This is what football culture is all about. Like no one really cares about you got your big teams, but like what makes football so special is the fans and the community around the club, and also just seeing your community, your club grow with your community, and that's what the USL's ultimately bringing is that football culture that the English always talk about football culture, like we love it type thing, and that's what the USL is trying to bring to the United States to get a little taste of it, and I'm all for it, and I'm excited for it. I just want to mention right now, if anyone from the USL is watching this by any chance, and at this point of the video, we would love to cover it, the entire journey.
Oh,
So if you want to
absolutely. Yeah.
reach out
Partner with us.
anytime, partner with us. We will be your
Yes.
exclusive. No, it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
exclusive, but we could be one of your YouTube channels that helps cover stuff
Yeah.
for you, keeps everyone
An
updated. So
affiliate.
we would,
Yeah.
yeah, we would
Happily.
love that. We would love that. So
Happily.
if anyone watching right now knows anyone or the USL,
Let them know.
let them know.
Get in football podcast. Ex USL collab. Yeah.
That'd be huge. If you want us to cover a game, compare the MLS to a USL Championship game right now, we would love to do that. We'd love to do that any day.
Okay.
Any day.
Okay. Thank you for saying that, Andres. That was good. That was good.
Just want to put that feeling it. I'm all on board on the USL. I'm very excited.
Totally. And I think we've talked about it numerous times on this channel that we've been doing for over 2 years now. USL's got potential. It always has had potential. People, fans of American soccer, should be tuning into the USL as best they can. There are too many teams that don't make it for that long because of whatever reason. But I think the USL Division 1 is going to give them a good opportunity. One thing that sucks is I wish teams like San Diego Loyal would still be around for this.
Bring them back.
Bring them back.
Don't say never say never.
I'm not saying it's gonna. There's a chance, right? Because think about all these teams, right? Teams that fold for whatever reason. San Diego Loyal had apparently, and the reason they gave us was they folded because they couldn't find a permanent venue to play at. In my opinion, I think a lot of other people's opinions is there was some influence with the new San Diego FC MLS team.
Indy
Something
11?
Happened there.
Indy 11, we covered that.
Indy 11, yeah, absolutely. But think about it. If San Diego Loyal was a Division 1 team, a top tier team, someone would have given them a chance. So I think this is really good for just smaller clubs to be able to grow and flourish and especially be cared about more because they already are so cared about. If you look at a lot of these fans, fan groups and just crowds that show up to these games, people love this league. No matter how much less quality you think it might be. I know New Mexico United has a crazy fan base. Louisville has a crazy fan base. Tampa Bay Rowdies have an amazing fan base. There's so many teams that have all these great fan bases but don't have the opportunity to deliver on the highest level because the MLS doesn't let them, right? So I feel like they can't push them down any further because it's a top tier team. The USA Federation has to give them resources and the time of day. And I think it's good. I think it's awesome. I know I'm going to be going to whatever our local team is by that time. We don't know what that's going to be, obviously. I think right now it'd be Orange County would be the closest one for us. And I would think that they would move into that D1 status as well. Phoenix Rising, teams like that. The USL has potential also to bring in bigger players. I think that was a big issue for me when I first heard about this is if I'm a player overseas with the opportunity to come to the USA, who am I picking, the MLS or the USL? I think it's going to be really hard to pick someone to get somebody for the USL to stake that claim. But they've had Didier Drogba before, and biggest name that comes to mind. They've had other big players that have played in Europe and for big teams that have come to play in the USL. The USL has a good chance at becoming a good rival to the MLS. Even your phone is excited about it.
No, it is. It's just agreeing with you, realistically. Siri's on you. Yeah, exactly.
But of course, hopefully, I want you guys to let us know in the comments who you're a fan of in the USL, if you already are a USL fan. And if you want to collaborate with us, if you're a USL creator, let's do something because I want to talk about all this stuff. This is a big, big time for American soccer. MLS has been funky for a couple years now with the whole Leagues Cup and Open Cup fiasco and, numerous things. Typical MLS. USL Cup's coming in at a great time to stake a claim as an important factor in U.S. soccer, which is awesome. I love that. And yeah, maybe it brings the Open Cup back to what it's supposed to be. It gives them also a reason to participate. All these things.
Looking at you, Galaxy. Awesome. Shameful for sending your second team. It truly is.
Well, from what I understand, I don't know if it's the clubs or the pretty sure it's the MLS because the MLS isn't allowing LAFC to play their Open Cup. I'm sorry, fight to defend. There we go, to defend their Open Cup that they won last year. LAFC's in the Leagues Cup. Why wouldn't they be in the Open Cup? If it was up to them, I think they'd be in the Open Cup.
Another example why the USL has so much potential. Boom. You're welcome.
Talk to us. Okay. USL hit our line. We have your backs the whole way through. In fact, I have a San Diego Low jersey on the way right now for the SDFC game. I'm going to be representing at an MLS game, which we're going to be vlogging, of course. If you guys want to watch that, make sure to subscribe now.
Shameless plug.
we've done enough already, right? Okay, might as well keep going. But of course, like we said, we're going to be covering every single aspect about the journey for as long as we can until the creation of the league. We're going to be following it. We're going to go to games, maybe interviews. I don't know. We're going to do a lot for this league. So if you want to keep up to date with those things, make sure to subscribe down below and turn notifications on. Leave a like too if you're excited for this league the way we are, and leave a comment your thoughts about the league. We're going to be responding to as many as we can. Andres, you got anything before we go?
No, we're good. I'm excited.
Awesome.
That's all I gotta say. Let's get it.
Yeah, it's great. Hopefully, we'll see you guys in future videos about USL, MLS, or anything other soccer related. And yeah, we'll see you guys later. Take care.
Peace.